Hey there, my name is Victor Alvarado. I'm a student at Central High School, and I like collecting comics. Comic books really started to gain more popularity between the years around like 1938 to 1956. That's known as the golden age of comic books. That's when comic books started to get published intensely. More start to get out, more start to get bought. This is when major comic book companies such as DC would arise, known as Detective Comics. This was back when some of the only heroes were Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Even then, people loved those heroes. They wanted to see those heroes. They wanted to buy more comics. They wanted to talk about these heroes with each other. There's a lot of reasons why people may start collecting comics. One of the main reasons may be because of some type of emotional attachment they may have to a certain hero or character within a comic. They may discover that character within the comic itself, or within another form of media in which the character is expressed in, such as movies, TV shows, etc. As that certain person continues to collect more and more comics of their favorite characters, they may be driven to collect even more comics of different characters for reasons such as appreciation, nostalgia, financial profit, because comics can be pretty expensive if you save them up, or they just may want a complete collection. I find comic book collecting to actually be pretty important because it's inspired a lot of our recent media lately. I mean, if you just look at Hollywood for the past 10 years, it's been dominated by these large comic book industries. Think of DC and Marvel. Those types of movies have made so much money within the box office, and it's because these are characters present in comics that people grew up collecting, and they want to see these characters on the big screen because it connects them with their childhood. And it's still always fun to predict how these movie industries will end up taking these comic book characters based on stories that actually happened within the comics. Like, for example, say you see Spider-Man and Daredevil within the same movie for the first time. A lot of people would not have thought that would happen, but then comic book collectors would be like, yeah, they've talked a lot in the comics and fought together. And after stuff like that happens, more comic book collectors are wondering, oh, what if they put this character and this character in the same movie? Because within this storyline from this series, these characters fought together, and that just inspires a whole new theories and stuff that just make fans come together more. That's still just a really good thing to see. When we think of comic book artists, the one guy that really always comes to everyone's mind is the great Stan Lee. And that's natural because of the MCU and stuff. But I just want to note that there are a lot of amazing comic book writers and artists, and those people have shown a lot of effort within their comics, writing out these characters the way the fans want them to, seeing the way they interact with other characters that other great artists and writers have drawn out, and just seeing panel after panel the art styles of certain comics, the way different characters are interpreted, if a comic is rewrote through a different lens per se. Take, for example, the Ghost Rider Trail of Tears comics. The Trail of Tears comics takes Ghost Rider and translates his story into a whole different perspective. Specifically, do a Western horror type of perspective. And being a Western fan myself, it's become one of my favorite comic series that I have. And it's just great to see how different artists and writers interpret different characters that were loved by fans, and just rewriting them in ways in which they can still be enjoyed today. Even though I'm very open to reinterpretations of certain characters, it's always important to keep the heart of the character in mind and what makes that character unique and important. Because if you go too far off in the reinterpretation, you have an entirely different character, and comic book fans would then end up be furious, which is what you see sometimes within the MCU and DCU. If someone is looking to get into comic book collecting, there are certain tips that I would give them. My first tip would be to start collecting comics slowly. Try try to focus more on the comics on some of your favorite characters. Or if not your favorite, then some of the popular heroes, and look towards their key issues. Some of the ones that comic book collectors will look at and be like, oh, yeah, this is the one when he, etc. Don't only get familiar with key issues themselves, but get familiar with popular artists and writers, because it's those guys that will naturally sell some of the best comics that you could possibly buy. And a lot of those comics will involve interactions between certain important characters, and those are the types of interactions that people will be longing for. And so it's important to try and get those comics if you can. Thank you for having me.